Hi, welcome to the Wise Archive. Here, we make language learning simple and interesting. With us, you'll forget you're even studying and enjoy every moment. Emma is a young woman. She lives in a sunny town. The town is near the sea. She often dreams about a good life. She likes to walk on the beach and listen to the waves. Emma wakes up early every day. The sun shines through her window. She opens the door and feels the warm air. She thinks, I am lucky. I live in a beautiful place. She puts on her shoes and goes outside. The sea is quiet in the morning. Emma looks at the blue water. She hears the soft sound of waves. She smells salt in the air. She often says, I like this smell. It makes me happy. She walks slowly and thinks about her day. Emma works in a small shop. The shop sells food, drinks, and postcards. Tourists come in the summer. They buy fruit, bread, and cold water. Emma smiles at them. Good morning. How can I help you? She says. The tourists smile back. Emma likes to meet new people. She thinks, I can learn new words. I can talk with people from many places. One afternoon, a family comes into the shop. The father wants oranges. The mother looks at postcards. The children ask for ice cream. Emma laughs. She says, yes, of course. She gives them what they want. She thinks, I like to see happy faces. I want to make people feel welcome. After work, Emma goes to the market. She buys fresh fish and vegetables. The market is noisy and full of colors. She hears people talk and laugh. She touches the soft fruit and smells fresh bread. She thinks, I like this town. It is small but full of life. Emma often goes to the beach in the evening. She takes a book and sits on the sand. She reads and listens to the waves. She looks at the sun going down. The sky is red and orange. She thinks, the day is ending. I feel calm. She pets a dog that comes near. She smiles. Emma writes in her small notebook at night. She writes about her life. I walked on the beach. I worked in the shop. I saw the sunset. She puts the notebook on her desk. She thinks, I want to remember these days. They are simple but good. One Saturday, Emma meets her friend Clara. They sit in a café near the sea. They drink cold lemonade. Clara says, Emma, you are always smiling. Emma laughs. I like my life here. The sea gives me peace, she answers. Clara nods. Yes, the town is sunny and kind. We are lucky. Emma often dreams about the future. She wants to do more. She says, one day, I will have a small cafe. I want people to come, drink coffee, and see the sea. She thinks about flowers, music, and happy faces. She feels warm inside. She knows she must work hard, but she also knows she can do it. The night is quiet. Emma opens her window. She hears the sound of waves. She smells the sea. She says softly, good night, sea. Good night, town. She goes to bed with a smile. She dreams of sunny mornings and happy days. The next morning, Emma wakes early. She hears birds singing outside her window. She stretches and thinks, another sunny day. I must make it good. She washes her face with cool water. The air smells fresh and light. She puts on her blue dress and goes outside. Emma walks to the shop. On the way, she sees fishermen coming from the sea. They carry nets full of fish. The men talk loudly and laugh. Emma waves. Good morning, she says. One fisherman smiles. Good morning, Emma. Do you want some fish? Emma shakes her head and laughs. Not today, thank you. She thinks, the sea gives food and joy. This town is lucky. In the shop, Emma puts bread and fruit on the shelves. She touches the soft loaves and smells the warm crust. The bell rings when the first customer comes. It is an old woman. Good morning, Emma, she says. Do you have apples today? Emma smiles. Yes, I have fresh apples. Here you are. She puts them in a bag. The woman smiles. Emma thinks, I like to help. I can make people happy with small things. Later, two tourists come into the shop. They look at postcards with pictures of the beach. One says, "This sea is beautiful. We want to send cards to our family." Emma helps them. She says, "You can also buy stamps here." They thank her. She feels proud. She thinks, I can talk with people from many places. I am learning. At lunch, Emma closes the shop for 1 hour. She walks to the pier. The sea is blue and wide. She sits on a bench and eats bread with cheese. She hears the waves hit the wood. She tastes the salty air. She thinks, this is simple but perfect. I want to keep this feeling. In the afternoon, Clara comes to visit Emma at the shop. She looks at the fruit. You always have the best oranges, she says. Emma laughs. I must choose them well. People like fresh things. Clara nods. Yes, you do it with care. They sit together and talk. Clara says, Emma, what do you want for the future? Emma looks at the sea outside. She answers, I want my own cafe. I want to see flowers on tables, people smiling, and music playing. Clara touches her hand. You can do it. You are strong. The sun goes down and the shop is quiet. Emma closes the door and walks home. She looks at the orange sky. The air is warm and smells of fish from the evening market. She thinks, I must save money. I must work hard. My dream will come true one day. At home, Emma makes soup with vegetables. She tastes the hot broth. It is simple but good. She writes in her notebook. I met new people. I sold fruit. I saw the sunset. She puts the notebook away. She often says, every day is a story. Every day is important. Before sleep, she walks to the balcony. She looks at the dark sea. She hears music from a cafe near the street. People laugh inside. She smiles. She thinks, one day, it will be my cafe. One day, people will laugh inside my place. She goes to bed with hope in her heart. The next weeks pass quickly. Emma works every day in the shop. She talks with many people, and she learns many things. She knows the faces of the fishermen, the voices of the children, and the songs from the cafes near the sea. She often says, this town is small, but the world comes here. One morning, a storm comes. The sky is dark and the wind is strong. Emma opens the shop, but no customers come. She looks through the window. She sees the sea move like a wild animal. She hears the rain on the roof. She feels worried. What if the boats cannot go out? What if people have no money to spend? She thinks. The hours are long. She puts fruit in order again and again. Finally, Clara comes in, wet from the rain. She laughs and shakes her umbrella. It is terrible outside. But I need bread. Emma smiles with relief. Here you are. Take the fresh one. Clara touches the warm loaf. You always put your heart in the shop, she says. Emma looks down. She feels shy but happy. That night, the storm is worse. The lights in Emma's home go out. She lights a candle. The flame is small, but it gives comfort. She writes in her notebook. The storm is big. I feel small, but I must be strong. She hears the wind all night, and she thinks again and again, I must be strong. The next day, the storm stops. The sun comes back. People walk in the street again. Fishermen bring fish again. The sea is calm again. Emma goes outside. She feels the warm light on her skin. She says, the sea takes, but the sea gives. She looks at the boats and thinks about her life. A few days later, a man from the city comes to the shop. He wears a clean white shirt and expensive shoes. He looks around. This shop is small, he says, but I can see you work hard. Emma feels curious. Who are you? She asks. The man smiles. My name is Mr. Harris. I work with cafes in the city. I am here on holiday. He buys oranges and bread. Before leaving, he says, You have a good way with people. Do you want to work in the city one day? Emma thinks about his words all evening. She sits on the balcony, looking at the sea. She hears the music from the cafes again. She tastes her tea and thinks, The city is big, but the sea is home. What must I do? Should I stay, or should I go? The next week, she talks with Clara. Clara, a man came. He asked me to think about the city. Clara looks surprised. Do you want to go? Emma is quiet for a moment. I don't know. The city is expensive and noisy. But maybe I can learn more there. Maybe I can find new chances. Clara nods slowly. Yes, but you must not forget your dream. You must not lose your heart. Emma works harder. She saves money in a small box. Every coin feels heavy with meaning. She writes in her notebook, I save for the future. I must not spend too much. I must believe. She repeats it 3 times. I must believe. I must believe. I must believe. Late at night, Emma walks again to the sea. The air is cool and smells of salt. She looks at the moon on the water. She says to herself, The sea is always here. If I go, I will come back. She feels both happy and worried. She closes her eyes and listens to the quiet waves. She thinks, the next step is close. The next summer begins. The sunny town fills with tourists again. The cafes are noisy with music, and the beach smells of sunscreen and fried food. Emma works in the shop each morning and then goes to help at a small cafe in the afternoon. She wants to learn more. She often says, I must learn today, so I can grow tomorrow. At the cafe, she serves coffee and small cakes. She carries hot plates, and she wipes clean tables. The work is fast, and sometimes it is difficult. A group of tourists ask loudly, More water, please. More bread. Emma runs back and forth. She feels the heat from the kitchen, and she hears the clatter of plates. Yet she smiles, and she says, Of course, I will bring it right now. One evening, the cafe is full. The air is hot, and people talk loudly. A young man plays guitar near the door. His music is soft and bright. Emma looks again and again at the guitar player. He wears a simple shirt, and his hair falls in his eyes. She carries drinks to a table and hears him sing. The sound makes her heart beat fast. Clara comes to visit the cafe and whispers, You look at him too much. Emma blushes. Do I? Well, maybe I do. After closing time, Emma takes a chair outside. She breathes the cool night air. The smell of the sea mixes with the smoke from the last candles. The guitar player comes out with his case. Good night, he says. His voice is calm. Emma nods. Good night. Your music is very nice. The man smiles. Thank you. My name is Daniel. I come from the city, but I like to play here in summer. Emma says softly, I like to listen. The next days, Emma and Daniel talk more. He often sits in the cafe corner with his guitar. He tells her stories about the big city. He says, there are tall buildings, noisy buses, and long nights. Sometimes it feels exciting. Sometimes it feels too much. Emma listens with wide eyes. She thinks again, the city is big. The sea is home. One afternoon, Daniel comes to the shop. He looks at the fruit baskets and laughs. Everything smells fresh here, he says. Emma hands him peaches. Taste this one. It is sweet. He takes a bite and nods. Yes, very sweet. Emma watches him, and she feels something new. She thinks, he likes the sea too. Maybe we want the same things. However, not everything is easy. Some days are very hard. The cafe owner is strict. Emma, you must move faster. People wait too long, he says. Emma tries again. Her feet hurt from walking, and her hands are red from hot plates. She goes home at night and writes in her notebook, "Work is hard. But I can do it. I must do it." She repeats again, "I must do it." Later, Daniel asks her, "Why do you work so much?" Emma looks down. "Because I want a better life. Because I want to grow." Daniel says, "You can do it. I see it when you talk with people. I hear it when you speak about dreams. Do not stop." Emma feels strong again. One night, a group of city men come to the cafe. They wear clean jackets and order expensive wine. They laugh loudly. Daniel plays music, and they clap. One of them says, "You are good. You must come to the city. You can play in our club." Daniel looks at Emma. He thinks about her. He says, "Maybe I will. But not yet." Emma's heart jumps. She wonders, will he leave? Will I be left alone? The summer moves on. Emma spends time with Daniel by the sea. They walk on the sand, and the water is cold on their feet. They talk about life, about music, about work. Emma often says, "I do not know the future, but I want to try." Daniel answers, "Yes, I want to try too." Still, inside her heart, Emma feels a choice growing. She thinks again and again, stay or go, stay or go. Finally, autumn comes. The town is quieter, and the tourists have gone. Emma and Daniel walk along the beach, feeling the cool wind. She smells the salt of the sea and hears the waves break on the shore. She thinks, the town is quiet, but it feels alive. One morning, Daniel talks seriously. "Emma, I must go to the city for my music," he says. Emma listens carefully. She feels the wind on her face and smells the sea. "I understand," she says softly. "I want you to go. You must follow your dream." He holds her hand. "And you? What will you do?" Emma looks at the waves. She thinks, "I want my cafe. I want my town. I will stay, but I will not stop." Emma works harder than ever. She cleans the shop, arranges fruit, and serves the few tourists who stay for the season. She smells fresh bread and hears the quiet chatter of customers. She often says, "I must save. I must prepare. One day, it will be mine." She writes every evening in her notebook. A few weeks later, she finds a small building for sale near the sea. It is light, with big windows and a small garden. Emma touches the door and feels the wood. She thinks, "This can be my cafe. I can make it beautiful. I can put flowers on the tables. I must buy it." She calls the owner. "I want to see the cafe," she says. The owner agrees. When she enters the cafe, the smell of old wood and paint fills the air. She sees sunlight on the floor and feels warmth. She touches the chairs. "I can do it. I must do it," she repeats. She talks with the owner and arranges the price. Emma counts her savings. She smiles. "I have enough. I will do it. I must do it." Emma spends weeks preparing the cafe. She cleans every table, paints the walls, and buys flowers. She tastes the new bread from the bakery and arranges it on the shelves. She listens to soft music while working. She often says, "This is my dream. I must make it real. I can do it." Finally, the opening day arrives. The sun shines on the sea, and the air smells of fresh coffee. Emma opens the door and looks inside. She sees small tables with flowers and clean cloths. She smiles and says, "Welcome. Please come in." People arrive slowly. They smile and sit at tables. Emma takes their orders and feels proud. A family comes first. Children laugh and eat cake. The parents drink coffee. Emma smells the chocolate and hears the laughter. She thinks, "I did this. I made people happy. I can do more." Tourists walk by the window, see the flowers, and come inside. Emma talks with them. She often says, "I hope you enjoy your time here. I want you to feel happy." Daniel returns for a visit. He walks into the cafe and sees the people, the flowers, and the music. He smiles. "Emma, you did it. Your cafe is beautiful. You made your dream real." Emma smiles back. "Thank you, Daniel. I work hard. I never stopped. I am happy." Years pass. Emma's cafe becomes known in the town. People from all over come to sit near the sea, drink coffee, and eat fresh bread. She trains young workers and teaches them to be polite and careful. She often says, "I must help others. I must share what I learned." She feels proud of her work and her town. Emma sits by the sea sometimes, looking at the water. She thinks about her life. She smiles. "I started small. I work hard. I dreamed big. I can do more. The town, the sea, and the people make it beautiful. My life is happy." She writes in her notebook, "I never gave up. I followed my dream. I am grateful.